Hello again, welcome back. While the commander of American forces in Iraq, General David Petraeus, was testifying before the US Congress in Washington recently, peace protesters were calling for the withdrawal of American troops. Some of the loudest voices belonged to the women-led anti-war group Code Pink, and its co-founder, Medea Benjamin, ended up being arrested for disruptive behaviour. Well, I'm glad to say she's out of custody and she joins us now from Washington. Medea, thank you very much for talking to us. First of all, just tell us, what is Code Pink trying to achieve?
We're trying to show that people in the United States are not happy with Bush's policies, that no matter how he repackages this war, it's still a war we should never have gotten into, and we should be putting all our energy into finding how to get out of it.
One of your methods is disruption and civil disobedience, is that right?
Well, we disrupt wherever we can. We feel that this war has disrupted the lives of just about everybody in Iraq. It's disrupted the lives of military families in the United States. It will disrupt our lives for many years to come, even though people don't know it, because of the billions and billions of dollars that could have been used for our healthcare system, the schools for our children, the roads that are crumbling, the bridges that are crumbling, and instead is being used to kill people in Iraq.
But does that kind of disruptive behaviour, does it actually make a difference? Does it achieve anything other than landing you and your members in court?
Well, we don't just disrupt, we do lots of things. We go to the Middle East regularly to meet with parliamentarians, to meet with women, to try to find how are we going to live together in peace. We organize throughout the United States. We stand on street corners every week. For the last 4 years, we go to city councils and we ask them to pass resolutions against a war in Iraq and now a war in Iran. In fact, we've done over 300 of those. So we do a lot of mobilizing and organizing. Unfortunately, those kinds of things don't get the press coverage. What gets the press coverage is when we get up in a hearing or we get arrested in front of the White House.
But are the people in power taking notice? Because I know, for example, that you've been trying to have meetings with Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker, and she's not yet agreed to meet with you, and so you ended up having a hunger strike outside her house.
Well, we have been focusing on all of our congressional leaders as well as the president in any ways we can. We did a 4-month vigil in front of the White House, standing there in the freezing cold every day. It didn't change Bush's policies, so we went to Congress instead. We did our jobs mobilizing people around this country to vote in the elections, and we changed Congress November 2006. That didn't do any good. We feel like the normal ways of making change in this country are not working. We feel like our democracy is broken.
I think it's really admirable that women like you will just refuse to give up and do want your voices heard. Do you think that's because Code Pink is run by women, very determined women?
I think so. We're pretty obstinate, passionate, determined. We have a house now near the Capitol in Washington, D.C., where women are coming in from all over the country, and they spend a week. They take time away from their families, off of work. Some of them come for months at a time. I feel like our soldiers are sacrificing a lot more by being sent to fight in a war they should never have been sent to fight in. I feel like the families of Iraq have no choice in whether they're going to sacrifice or not, and that it really is our duty, given that it's my tax dollars, my government, that is wreaking such havoc in the world right now. It's my obligation to sacrifice as well.
Do you think women should have a greater role in conflict resolution, given that around the world in many conflicts, arguably it is women and children who do suffer among the most in wars?
Well, that's right. I think the victims of today's wars tend to be not the soldiers, but the civilians. Tends to be majority women and children. We feel that as mothers, as wives, as people who really believe in the sacredness of all human life, we have got to stand up during these very difficult times. So women should play a greater role in peacekeeping, and it's been said that if women were in control of governments, that we wouldn't have so many wars.
Briefly, what's your next battle, Medea?
Well, we're going off today to Congress like we do every day and go into the hearings and make our voices heard. Might end up in jail again. I've spent a lot of time in prison in these last couple of years, as have the other women of Code Pink. But it just makes us feel stronger, more determined when we get out.
Well, Medea, I also know you've got a court appearance coming up. Best of luck with all your future activities with Code Pink, and do keep us updated with how it goes. But for now, thanks very much for talking to us.
Well, thank you.
Now, for the third in our series on China. This week, we look at one woman who has joined the economic elite, a businesswoman who's competed and won against men in a male-dominated industry. In a society where many women are still dependent on their husbands, Li Ying is worth a cool $65 million. She told Everywoman's Julian Ong about the driving force behind her ambition.
我所有的车型我都有，从320、325直到523、525、530、730、740、750、760，包括我现在开的650，所有的车型我都有。很正常嘛，因为我是在做这个生意嘛，但是这些车确实是我个人的。
As one of 4 BMW dealers in China and the only woman to boot, 36-year-old Li Ying is one of the country's wealthiest people. Her estimated net worth stands at $65 million, amassed in just 3 short years.
In 2003, when BMW and its Chinese partner started a joint venture to make BMWs in China, I decided to apply for the exclusive dealership. It was very competitive because everyone knew whoever wins would definitely strike it rich. Frankly, we were just trying our luck. But we were chosen because of our financial muscle and experience in selling luxury cars. Everyone talks about sexual equality, but women are still largely dependent on men. Not many women dare enter the private sector. Maybe my education at Beijing University helped. It taught me to take courage and assume responsibility. I was always very competitive, always wanted to be somebody. In university, I spent all my weekends in the library studying, while other girls went to the movies, went dating and dancing. By the time I graduated, I decided to be my own boss. Luckily at that time, China wanted to attract foreign investors, so all individual and partnership enterprises were tax exempt. When this policy was about to expire in 1994, everyone started importing cars, which were snapped up once they reached the port. So we grabbed the opportunity to import second-hand cars, which was my first introduction to car dealership.
That first introduction paid off handsomely. 3 years after graduating, Li Ying became a multimillionaire, making her first 10 million.
Average household spend is now becoming much bigger, and especially in the cities like Beijing, Shanghai and Shenzhen. For a few people like Li Ying, a wonderful opportunity can persuade BMW or whoever it is that, I'm a serious contender, I'm playing by the rules and I will sell your cars for you.
Beating more than 200 applicants to win the exclusive BMW dealership, Li Ying became the new poster girl of China's growing economic elite.
Li Ying is a very good example for nowadays Chinese new women. She is very ambitious, I think. Why she can success in car field? Because she can catch the opportunity when nobody has the courage to take the risk to sell BMW in China.
By 2006, 3 years after her BMW coup, Li makes a much-watched list of China's most moneyed females.
On the 50 richest women in China list, she scraped into the bottom. You're talking, there are 1.3 billion people in China, and to be number 48 woman, and on our women's rich list, well, that's pretty impressive. I think that's an amazing achievement.
Li's phenomenal success at the workplace has no doubt taken a toll on family. It is only on weekends like this that the mother of 2 has time with her children. Her son nicknamed Diamond and daughter Jade. Even then, it's piano lessons back at the showroom where the CEO mom can also keep an eye on operations.
The biggest problem is managing my time. When work gets busy, there's less time with the children. I try my best to prioritize things. But more importantly, I try to teach my children that Mummy has her reasons for doing this. China is now a very open society. Since the economic reforms of the 80s, our way of life and values have changed. Women don't have to play submissive roles anymore. Before, everyone had similar lives, similar educations. Now everyone can choose to be what they want. Some choose to be good housewives, others career women. But I don't want to be either. I just want to live the life I want. Women want independence now. They want control over their lives rather than relying on their husbands. It's like driving. It's tiring but fun. If you're in the passenger seat, you have no worries. You can even go to sleep. But you would have missed out on many beautiful moments in your life.
So there you go. Life is like driving a car. Don't you just wish it was always a BMW? If you have any comments on today's show, do email us at everywoman@aljazeera.net. But for now, from all of us here, bye-bye.